They say never go backwards, but here I am. I'm returning to where my YouTube journey began. Only this time, I'm going to be carving an elephant out of all of this wood and gallons upon gallons of epoxy resin. If my past has taught me anything, it's that things can go wrong in a flash. Really wrong. This is something I've wanted to do for a really long time. I was recently looking through my old videos and I was shocked. I haven't made a sculpture using mixed species of wood and epoxy in over 2 years. I owe a lot of this channel's success to making those early videos, and I'm a little disappointed in myself for taking so long to do another one. I want to see if you guys feel the same about this scenario. I often subscribe to a YouTuber because I enjoy their videos and I like what they're doing. And usually when I enjoy them, so do a lot of other people. They start to reach a wider audience, gain more subscribers, and then fall into this trap that I am guilty of myself. You start to think that every new video has to be bigger and better than the last. If you keep going forward with this trajectory, you end up so far off from where you started that your original core audience is completely lost and no longer relatable. And I'll be the first one to tell you I'm guilty of this too, and that's why in this video, I'm going back to my roots where my YouTube journey began, carving wood and epoxy. If you're an early subscriber to my channel, this one's for you. Okay, enough of me talking, let's get into the build. When doing a sculpture like this, I'm always thinking about where the epoxy will be once I carve into it. So I basically use my template as a guide, and then I arrange the wood pieces in a way that complements the shape of the elephant. And speaking of wood pieces, if you're wondering what species of wood I'm using, there's walnut, Paduak's the red one, black Limba, maple, oak, Osage orange, the yellow one, and I think that's it. And to help with the glue up, I even had my little helper here. Here I'm using some Total Boat tabletop epoxy to seal all the wood in, which will help prevent bubbles on the main pour. And if you know anything about me and have seen my early work, you know that I hate bubbles. Yeah, so this tabletop epoxy is kind of doing that to bubbles that want to come out, and that's what I'm going with. So once everything is coated and cured, I'm going to make probably one of the most intricate melamine molds I've ever made. And once I do that, we are ready for the pour. Let's get to it. I do all my large epoxy pours in a refrigerator so I can regulate the temperature. Epoxy is one of the trickiest materials to work with, especially when you disregard the labels like I do. I think it says the maximum depth of pour is about 3 inches for this epoxy, and I am pouring at least double that for this sculpture. Huge shout out and thank you to Total Boat for supplying epoxy for this sculpture. I will have a link for a discount code down in the description. Hey guys, Editor Blake here, in my closet doing this here voiceover. I have a goal of reaching 1 million subscribers, and I'm a couple years away from hitting that goal, but I'm very close to my next milestone at 750K. If you like this video and like my content, please consider subscribing. Okay, bye. All right, it is morning 1. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm super nervous to see this thing. Let's hope for the best. Let's check this temp. I ended up lowering it. It's right now at 47 degrees. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're still at 61, so there's still some action going in there. This is solid news right here. All right, day 2, let's check it out. Let's look at this temp first. That's fine. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. 48 hours? It's already hard. Oh my. This turned into a much different project here. Oh my God, look at all of these fractures. I mean, this entire thing is toast. Completely toast. Oh, I knew I should have done 2 pours. This is... Okay. I've had a couple hours to kind of sit down, process what just happened. That pour is completely toast. There's no way that that is going to be salvageable. That is 2 weeks worth of work, a ton of money, and just very, very frustrating. And I have no one to blame but myself. I was way too overly confident, and I think that confidence blinded me on how scary of a pour that was. If you wanted to see a video of me getting back to my roots, there is no more getting back to my roots than doing an epic disaster pour like that. And the only thing I could do right now is just move forward, because I have to start completely over from scratch, and we have to do an entirely new pour. So let me go scrounge around for some wood that could be usable for this next one. It's going to be a long week. Let's get to it. All right. This time around, I'm substituting Osage Orange with Purpleheart, and I'm also going to add some Mahogany to the mix. I think the more earthy tones are going to look better than the previous one. Check out this pleasant surprise. I thought this was just saw marks. Check out when I milled it. It's actually all curly. Look at how beautiful this grain is. If you're not a woodworker, you may not know this, so let me explain. Not all species of wood are equal. You can have 2 pieces of, let's say, mahogany like this, but one may be straight grain and another may have curly patterns like this, and these curls are highly desirable. It's not uncommon for lumberyards to charge double for a piece of wood like this. Luckily for me, when the sawmill processed this piece of wood, it was really rough and there was no way of knowing that the grain looked like this. So this ended up just being a score for me, and I'm pumped to add this to the elephant. All right, back to the build. I'm not going to let this first pour go to waste, so I'm going to take it out of the mold and see what we're really working with.
How much do you think this thing weighs?
That is a very good question. I'm gonna say it's 80 pounds. Right around, I'm gonna go 80.
I'll go with 100.
100 pounds?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Closest one? I don't have anything to give you. Closest one, just good job. $101.4, you won. All right, so there are fractures all the way to like right here. And this big brick right here is perfect. Just an absolutely perfect pour. So I'm gonna try to just cut this off and maybe this could be carved into something. This is a perfect crystal clear block. It measures around 4.5 inches by 4 inches by 12 inches long, and I would have to carve it something that fits this size. So here's a couple options I can go with, and I need your guys' help. Should I carve this into a submarine? Maybe a whale? I also like the idea of a minimalist figure, kind of like this, or maybe just a banana. A wiener dog would fit in there nicely. And speaking about dogs, here's my dog Bo. And Bo is pumped about this video sponsor, Mave. Mave is the first and only human-grade, protein-rich raw food for dogs made with real ingredients. Ingredients that you could actually see and name just by looking at it. Honestly, this stuff looks better than the food I eat. How we eat affects our mood, behavior, energy levels, and overall health. The same goes for our dogs. Bo absolutely loves this stuff, and he just seems happier and healthier. I mean, just look at him.
So look at this, you know what I mean?
Yes. Every bowl of Mave has lean protein, vitamin-rich organ meat, and fresh produce that are flash frozen for optimal nutrition absorption. Mave has an assortment of raw food options, supplement bars, bone broth, and treats, which I'm sure your dog will enjoy.
Wow.
Bo absolutely loves this stuff, and I think your dog will too. So if you're interested, use this QR code or hit the link in the description and use code BMSculptures for 20% off your first order. Thanks, Mave. I went ahead and sliced these into 2-inch thick slabs because I'm going to salvage these by turning them into end grain cutting boards. And not just this slab, I have so much extra offcuts from all my sculptures over the past year, and I'm going to turn them into all differently patterned boards that you guys can purchase over on my website. I'll put a link down in my description. They will all be different sizes, different patterns, and different prices. This is by far the biggest selection of offcuts I've ever had, and one of my favorite parts of doing these is making the different patterns, and I'm really excited with all the different options I have here. And I forgot to mention, the reason why I have all the time to do these cutting boards is because I already poured the first layer of epoxy into the new mold, and I have about a week for that to cure before I could do the next pour. The sculpture will be listed for sale, so if you're interested after watching this video, be sure to check out the link in my description. All right, everything's going good on these cutting boards besides this one, the very last one. Can you see that? So everywhere looks really good on this, if you see all this, but this spot right here, there's no way of really fixing that, but this might be a good opportunity for a little branding on the front besides the normal backside right here. So we're gonna go ahead and put the logo pin on the front of this one. Nothing is going to plan on this one. We have another very big mistake. See these little bubbles? There's actually oil in this one right here. So, see all that? That is actually oil that I already wiped up. Oil created all these little divots that I ended up wiping up, and that's from the vacuum pump. I left the second batch of epoxy in here too long, and oil, see this oil on my finger right here? Oil leaked from this into the epoxy, then went into there. So now I honestly don't even know if this one's gonna be able to be used. So what I'm gonna try and do is just wipe it all up. I'm then gonna sand it and then try that second pour, but this is just, again, not going as I originally wanted it to go. Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you guys, I also bumped over my tripod, which tipped over my camera straight into the concrete and shattered. There are a lot of different things going wrong with this build so far, and I haven't even started carving yet. Let's just hope the carving is a little bit smoother than it has been so far. And talking about carving, I'm someone that is very detail oriented, and I planned on having this thing completely done by now. It's been over a month since I started this, and like I just said, I haven't even started carving yet. This is only the second pour, and it gets really frustrating that I'm so behind schedule, but I can't do anything about it. I just have to keep pressing on, and while this thing cures, I could go ahead and finish all those end grain cutting boards. I also have these 3 beautiful quartz-side offcuts from the pedestal I made from the Apex carving. I'm going to turn these into serving trays, or that thing that you throw your keys and wallet on next to the front door. Either one works. I absolutely love how these things turned out, and I just like the different patterns that I get to make. I'm not making the same thing over and over again. They're all different and all unique. Like I said earlier, all of these will be listed for sale over on my website, and I will have a link down in the description. It's been 5.5 weeks since I've started this build, and I finally get to pull the mold out of the refrigerator and see what we're working with. From the surface, we're looking really good. It's looking super clean, but let's crack open these sidewalls and see what we're really working with. It looks really good. You can see a seam line from the two separate pours. There's really nothing you can do about that when you do multiple pours, but I'm hoping that once I carve it down, those lines should disappear, or at least be shown a lot less than you could see in this outer edge. And without further ado, it's been almost 6 weeks working on this thing, and I finally get to start carving it, and I am pumped. Let's get it. This is a pretty cool block right here. When I originally made these molds, I debated whether I should put scrap wood under here, but I kind of figured that I could always turn this into some more cutting boards down the road. So I went with just the normal full mixed species of wood. Hey, check this out. I know this is a bit off topic, but I'm hoping one of you know why this is happening. I have this banana tree in my backyard, and it has never produced anything over the entire time we've lived here. All of a sudden, this thing has a solid bundle of bananas growing on it. My question is, why are they growing now all of a sudden but never before? I live in Central California with a very hot climate, if that helps. Please let me know. I know one of you out there knows why. Thanks, guys. At the beginning stages of this carving, I'm really just trying to rough out the shape, and I think I did a pretty good job for the most part for day 1, and should set myself up pretty nicely for day 2. You know, A lot of people get really intimidated with carving, and I say to anyone, hey, if you have the right tools, you will be able to carve this. It's as simple as carving to your template lines. As you see, I have the lines on here, and it's as simple as just finding the right tool to carve to that line. You will rough out this entire shape, and I'm telling you, it doesn't take an artistic eye. It's just like tracing. It's like coloring. You're coloring to the lines. You are carving down to the lines. It's as simple as that. And so today I hope that I can fully rough out this elephant by just carving down to the lines, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get suited up. What I forgot to mention there was you need to have good templates, and that is your very first priority when making a sculpture. I've been fortunate enough to work with some great 3D artists like Alex here, and I prefer 3D renderings over real pictures because they can provide every different angle of the subject, and it's going to be perfectly proportional. And don't get me wrong, I will use a ton of real life photographs of elephants throughout this sculpture, but that's really just for details, facial features, ears, the feet, things like that. Where the 3D renderings really come into play is the beginning stages, and it'll help you rough out the shape proportionately all around, making your job way easier. I've been using this Milwaukee angle grinder for at least 10 years. My dad gave it to me. It was one of the first tools I've ever got, and it's finally decided to tap out. It still turns on and spins, but it feels like it's just stuck, and it gets really hot and starts smoking. So I'm gonna try and fix it, and everything spins freely when I take it apart, but then when I put it back together, it no longer even turns on. So unfortunately I have to toss this thing, but in this angle grinder's honor, I'm gonna go get a new one, and hopefully they still make them just like this because that thing has been awesome. About an hour after that Milwaukee one broke, the exact same thing happened to my DeWalt here. It was smoking, overheating, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this fine epoxy dust is getting into the ports. I do routinely blow them out with the air compressor. It's also 95 degrees in my shop. Maybe it's just simply overheating because I'm using them for hours straight. But I don't know. Maybe one of you guys could help answer why these things keep failing on me. Oh, and if anyone's keeping a tally, that's 2 angle grinders, 1 camera, 6 gallons of epoxy, and about $1,500 of wood totaled in this build. This has been an expensive one to say the least. It's now finally starting to look more like an elephant, and I'm going to start honing in on some of the details. So let's get back to work. And this happened. I bumped into the tusk off camera and it completely just snapped off. Luckily this is a pretty easy fix, and I don't think you'll even see it in the final sculpture, so let's just go ahead and fix it and keep on moving on. Well, things just keep happening here. I was just drying this off and the horn came off again. Same horn that broke before, but a completely different spot. So now I have to go back and fix this. This time around I was drying it off with a towel and the edge of the towel got caught on the tip of the tusk and broke it off. Sounds about right for how this project is going, but luckily this is again a pretty easy fix, and I'm lucky that it happened in this stage of the carving, not at the very end. It's been almost 8 weeks since I've started this sculpture and I'm finally on the home stretch. Once all the finish is on, this thing is done. Hello there. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. This was a, how do I say it, a mentally challenging sculpture. I had so many setbacks along the way, but when I see the finished sculpture, it makes me appreciate it that much more because that much work and effort went into it. So I hope you guys like it too. This sculpture, as well as all the cutting boards, will be on my website and I'll have a link down in the description. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. All right, without further ado, the finished elephant. Just kidding. That's just a placeholder. Here it is on your screen.